Read the following story and answer question 8. Time passed, and both Aunt Misery and her tree grew bent and gnarled with age. One day, another traveler stopped at her door. This one looked suffocated and exhausted, so the old woman asked what he wanted in her village. He answered her in a voice that was dry and hoarse, as if he had swallowed a desert. I am Death, and I have come to take you with me. Thinking fast, Auntie Misery said, All right, but before I go, I would like to pluck some pears from my beloved pear tree to remember how much pleasure it brought me in this life. But I am a very old woman and cannot climb to the tallest branches where the best fruit is. Will you be so kind as to do it for me? With a heavy sigh like wind through a catacomb, Death climbed the pear tree. Immediately, he became stuck to it as if it were glue. And no matter how much he cursed and threatened, Auntie Misery would not give the tree permission to release Death. Many years passed, and there were no deaths in the world. The people who make their living from death began to protest loudly. The doctors claimed no one bothered to come in for examinations or treatments anymore because they did not fear dying. The pharmacist business suffered too because the medicines are, like magic potions, bought to prevent or postpone the inevitable. The priests and undertakers were unhappy with the situation also for obvious reasons. There were also many old folks tired of life who wanted to pass on to the next world to rest from the miseries of this one. Number 8. What does the reader learn about the old woman in the story from the words she speaks to Death? A. She is a very quick thinker and is not ready to die. B. She is selfish and doesn't care about the rest of the world. C. She has a very good relationship with the pear tree. D. She doesn't want to eat any more pears ever again. Answer questions 9 and 10 after reading the following passage. Wailing Whale. Charlie couldn't pass up a dare, and Eric was insisting she was too scared to complete this dare by the old wailing whale. Charlie was the toughest kid in the 6th grade. She wasn't going to let Eric ruin her reputation. No problem. Charlie shoved her hands in her pockets before anyone could notice they were shaking. So what if there was a kid-hungry troll living in the well on the abandoned lot? She could take a quick peek and run before it climbed up to eat her, right? She pushed through the crowd of kids and marched to the abandoned lot. Her palms were sweaty. No one went near the wailing well. A stray cat had jumped on the edge of it, and something pulled it into the well. It happened so fast that no one saw what did it. But now a horrible wailing came from the well. Wailing came from the well, and Charlie froze. Charlie was scared, but she couldn't admit it, especially to Eric. She turned to Eric. You're the one that's scared. Why else would you dare people to look into the well? You're too chicken to do it yourself. Am not. Eric walked over to Charlie. He gulped, and for the first time, Charlie realized he wasn't so tough. He put on a good show, but he was all talk. She wondered if he thought the same about her. Charlie grabbed Eric's sleeve and charged at the well. Something hairy moved inside. Yellow eyes glowed up at her. The wailing was replaced by a scratching sound like nails on rock. The creature was climbing up to get them. Eric screamed and ran. Charlie squinted at the creature. She cranked the bucket, lowering it into the well. She heard a soft thump and cranked the bucket back up. Charlie pulled a gray kitten out of the bucket. The cat didn't get pulled into the well. It fell. It got hurt too. That's why it was wailing. What are you going to do with it? Allison asked. I'll bring it to the vet, Charlie said. I'll put up some flyers, and if no one claims it, I'll keep it. She scratched the top of the kitten's head, and it purred. I'll even name it Troll. What does Charlie's handshaking in paragraph 2 indicate about Charlie? A. She is stubborn and won't back down from a challenge. B. She is very scared, but later gets talked into doing the challenge. C. She is very much like her father, who did something similar in his life. D. She is intelligent because she understands there might be danger involved. Number 10. How does the following dialogue indicate that Charlie was going to go to the wishing well? She turned to Eric. You're the one that's scared. Why else would you dare people to look into the well? You're too chicken to do it yourself. A, because she knew that Eric was a person who would endanger anyone and she would be safe. B, because she understood there is no such thing as a monster in a well and she would be safe. C, because she knew that if she dared Eric, he would go and she would have to go with him. D, because she realized Eric wasn't so tough and he would ultimately not go to the well no matter what she said.